That's when I knew something was amiss. No, I'm just kidding about that. Of course, you know, we have a few kids, so maybe they should know about that kind of stuff. I don't know, maybe. I think Anna could deliver a baby right now. She's been there enough. Well, I want you to open your Bibles to Luke 15. You know, today is the Sunday before Christmas, so what do I want to talk about? I want to talk about coming home for Christmas. We talked about a little bit about that last week, and this week we're going to look at Luke 15, and we're going to see a story. You guys, anybody ever heard of a guy? He wrote some books. He wrote some things. He wrote a famous Christmas story. His name was Charles Dickens. You ever hear of that guy? Well, Charles Dickens said about Luke 15, the story of Luke 15, which is called The Lost Son of the Prodigal Son, is the greatest story ever written. It's the greatest story ever written. And you know, he knows a little bit about stories, Charles Dickens does. One of his great stories, which was A Christmas Carol, you know, kind of reflects a lot of themes that we find in the prodigal son. And we see redemption. We see someone changing their life, totally changing their life from living one way and living another way. And we also see those same things in the prodigal son. And the prodigal son story is the greatest story ever written. It was probably the greatest story ever told. It would have been awesome to hear Jesus tell stories because he was such a great storyteller. He had a knack for telling people just the exact right thing at just the right time. He knew exactly what people needed to hear. And sometimes people listened and sometimes people didn't. You know, sometimes he felt rejection just like you and I do after he told the story. And so today, as we look at this story of the prodigal son, we want to kind of focus in on coming home at Christmas time. And you'll see on the back of your program there's a couple of blanks if you want to fill them in. If you don't want to, you can just listen in and hopefully get to hear what God has laid on my heart today to share with you. You know, how many people have ever done this? You've moved from one place to another place, and then you just kind of want to see, what does the old place look like? Have you ever done that? I just want to see what my old house looks like. I used to live there whenever I was a kid or whatever. You go into that town that you used to live in, and you make a special effort just to drive by that place where you used to live because there's so many memories there. You know, home is such a place for us, such a symbol for us of a place of safety and security. And I know that to be true, that it's safe and secure, because in all those games, you know, like Sorry and Trouble, where do you get your pegs to? You know, where do you go to? Do you go to the local bar? You know, do you go on a date? No, you go home, right? That's the safe place, you know, home. You go home. That's the place, should be the place of safety. And not everyone's home is a safe place. But we do have a safe place home if we trust in Jesus Christ. And that's really what this is all about, being at home. One of the other places, of course, in baseball. You know, in baseball, you want to get home, right? You want to get. I should ask Madison about this. I mean, she plays. I'm sure you still play softball and all that stuff. I mean, you want to get home. You want to hit a home run, right? You don't want to be worried about getting from point A all the way to point B and having to stop along the way because you got a chance to get what? Out, right? You're going to get out if you got a chance to get out if you don't hit a home run. You want to get home, safe at home, right? Because you're safe. And that's really what this story, this theme of coming home for Christmas is, being safe at home and being safe at home with Christ. And we do a lot of things at our homes to make them look nice. You know, we decorate them up. At Christmas time, you know, you might spend a lot of time outside putting lights up on the house or having someone else do it for you because you're afraid to fall off a ladder. That would be me. I don't pay anybody to do it, so we just don't have any lights on the outside of the house. Why don't we have lights, Dad? I don't know. I don't want to die. You know, but you know, we do a lot of things on the inside of our house. You know, well, on the outside, you know, we talk about curb appeal. You know, we want to have just the right plants out there and just the right bushes and all those kind of things. We want our home to look inviting. We want people, whenever they come to our home, to be like, this is a nice home. And all this stuff is just temporary. You know, it's just here today, gone tomorrow. I think about my uncle who's laying in the hospital today. He's about to get home into a new place, a new body, fully clean of all cancer and everything else. And his home is about to change. His home here on earth is about to change. Whenever my aunt goes home to her house, she's going to be in a place that's different than it was before. It's not going to be the same. His daughter is going to go home to a new place. They may actually want to move and not be there anymore because of some of the pain, but some of the memories may want to keep them there. So home is such an important thing to you and I. And if you have a powerful, wonderful, loving family at home, then you're going to want to be there. And what we need to recognize is sometimes that our local home, our home here on earth, our temporary home, maybe there's bad stuff that goes on there. Maybe things have happened bad to you. Maybe you've had someone's run out on you. Maybe you've been rejected or whatever at your home. And if that's the case, then you need to know today that Jesus Christ loves you so much, he's not going to turn his back on you. He's not going to run away from you. He doesn't reject you. He loves you, and he wants to love you all the way home. And that's what we're going to talk about today. The story of the prodigal son takes place near kind of the end of Jesus' ministry on earth. And as he's telling the story, there's two kinds of people there. The first kind of people that are there are the notorious sinners. Those tax collectors. Maybe even some prostitutes. Maybe some other people. Just kind of like this group over here. Okay? Just kidding. And then there's another group of people there. And they are a group of people who they're religious. They're religious. They don't know God, but they're religious. They know of God. They want to know all the rules. They're the Pharisees and the scribes. They know everything about the law. And in fact, the law just wasn't good enough for this group, so they went ahead and added more stuff on top of the law. They wanted people to follow more rules because they didn't understand about grace. They didn't understand about God's mercy. What they thought was, if I'm just good enough, if I do well enough, if everything that I do in life adds up to enough good things, then in the end, I'm going to get to heaven. I'm going to be able to spend time with God. And so they really fooled themselves. They psyched themselves out. They didn't know. But whenever Jesus came, and Jesus started loving all you people over here, all you sinners, and all you people over here, and all me, he loved me too, I'm a sinner. Whenever he loved me, it made those people mad because, wait a second here. You mean I'm doing all this stuff, I'm following all these rules and everything else, and these people are just walking up to Jesus and getting forgiven? Well, that's not fair. That's wrong. Deathbed conversions, you've heard of those people who, right on their deathbed, they've lived a terrible life. At the last moment, they ask God to save them. It doesn't matter what you've done in your life because God has said in his word that he's here to seek and save that which was lost. And if you're lost today, then he's coming after you. He's looking for you. And as we look in Luke 15, we see three stories. The lost sheep, the lost coin, and the lost son. And, you probably know about the lost sheep. There's 19 sheep. There's 100 sheep, and one of them gets lost. He gets off. Because sheep are really dumb. I don't know if you know that or not. We had a sheep one time, and it got away from the house, and it got tangled up in the barbed wire. And, most animals walk up to barbed wire and go, well, I'm just going to look at this for a while. A sheep tries to go through it. There's something over there. I guess I'll go over there. So we had to cut all the wool off the sheep, and it looked really silly for a while. And it looked silly even whenever it had all its wool, so I don't know if that really affected it. But anyway, one of the sheep wandered off. And so what does the shepherd do? The shepherd, write that sheep off. There's no reason to worry about that one. No, the good shepherd, he goes after that one sheep and goes and finds it. And then he doesn't get to the sheep and tie it to something and drag it home. He doesn't say, okay, come on, follow me. No, he knows that a sheep is so dumb that it wouldn't do that. So he picks the sheep up, puts it on his shoulders, and carries it back. And whenever he gets back, he rejoices and calls everyone together and has a big party because he found just this one sheep. And the same thing with the woman. She has 10 coins and loses one. And she's looking for the coin. And she goes, man, I've lost this coin. I don't know where it is. She kind of looked around and then sat down and just cried about it. No, she didn't do that. It's a coin. This is important. So she lit her lamp, and did a spring cleaning right there. She moved the furniture out of the way. She swept all the floors. She did everything she could, turn the house over upside down until she found that coin because it was so important. And whenever she found the coin, she called all her friends together and had a big party. And those are two pictures of Jesus.